Hello, people. If you know me, I talk about safety a lot. Not because I'm a violent person, to talk about self-protection, self-defense, a gun, using a gun, especially in America, where it's allowed. By the way, I have a concealed carry. I have the license legally, okay? Um, Not because I love to talk about it, but I've done some higher studies where I am a trained leader. Do you hear that? Some of you will understand why I'm so adamant sometimes on some topic. I'm a trained leader. I'm not gonna go into detail because I like to keep myself humble. I'm a trained leader. And if you are a trained leader, you know what to do uh, when the moment comes. I'm a trained leader. I'm trained to lead communities, to lead many people. Okay, so I analyze situation and circumstances to find what the solution is and what is the step to take in those situations. That's why I often talk about self-protection, self-defense, and the mechanism to have in place to accomplish that, right? And in America, there are a lot of gun violence or a lot of violence, period. You have to have a gun. I admonish people, I recommend people to do that in America. And of course, to know how to use a gun to protect themselves and this and that. And I even talk especially to Christians who believe Jesus will protect, who believe God's angel is guarding them, so they don't need to have any self-protection or anything. And sadly, bad people go to churches and shoot people and kill people inside church. I don't care what church, any place that is called a place of God. If God was guarding the church, nobody should die there. The gun should not go off. Nobody should even be scratched there. But people die there as a way for God to tell us there is something else we have to consider, right? I mean, look on my page, YouTube especially, and you'll see videos that I make on this subject. I'm not gonna go deep into it, but this is the thing. Some of you think, oh, I exaggerate. I'm watching some big preachers. You see Noel Jones and his new wife there. There is a Pastor Gibson, a Bishop Gibson. He's a bishop. And he says something. I was just watching a show to see what these people think. He says something about he quote a verse that I have not paid attention to before. Luke 22, verse 38. I have not paid attention to that verse before. I told you guys, I made a sermon that even Jesus have a bodyguard. And I used the fact that Peter had a sword with him when the people came to attack Jesus, and Peter was able to use the sword faithfully to cut the ear of one of the people that came, meaning Peter went from a fisherman to being a security guard. People think I exaggerate that passage. Okay, so I'm watching this, and the bishop mentioned Luke 22:38. Let's watch it and see what it says.
Men hit on my wife in front of my face.
Not this.
Slap him and say, that's my wife.
Okay, watch it.
No. The Bible says lay hands on the sick. The Bible says they'll recover.
Lay hands on the sick, they will recover.
I'm going to tell you why. You mess with this, you step on Mr. Gilmore's property. He's quoting the Bible to be violent. Did you go through a metal detector before you came in here? Are you strapped right now?
Are you strapped right now?
Did you go through the metal detector? You just asked me, Bishop. No, I don't. I'm going to tell you the truth. It's not a game, but we live in America.
You hear that?
And we have an amendment. The Bible to the assailant. Okay.
Hold the Bible to the assailant. Bishop Knowles say.
In Luke 22,
Luke
38.
Luke 22:38.
What chapter? 22, verse 38. When
Read.
Jesus was getting ready to leave the Garden of Gethsemane.
Uh-huh.
He says, Peter, do you have your swords with you? Yes. Peter said, I have 2 of them. Yes. Jesus said, that's enough. Let's roll, big homie.
Did you hear that?
In Luke 22:38, to let you know you can carry a 22 and a 38. So,
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Luke 22:38, Jesus asked the people, Jesus asked his disciple, do you have the swords with you? Do you hear that? The sword. S-W-O-R-D. Do you have the sword with you? Peter said he has 2 swords with him. Do you hear that? So Jesus check on them to make sure they have a weapon. Jesus now we're talking about, not a human being. Well, Jesus was human being, but he's God too, right? Not you and I, who don't know much. Jesus, who know, Jesus said, do you have the sword with you? Luke 22:30, I read it for myself. And it's true. And Peter responded to him, Lord, we have 2 swords with us here. When they were going to the Garden of Gethsemane, did you hear that? So Jesus even checked on them to make sure they had a sword. And when the soldiers, people came to arrest Jesus, and Jesus said, here I am, Peter grabbed one of the swords and cut the ear. How a fisherman begin to cut ear of a soldier? We don't know for sure if it's a soldier he cut the ear, but one of the people that came to arrest Jesus. How Peter just grabbed the sword and he wasn't struggling with it. He cut the ear, bloom, just like that. He must have been trained. You see, the Bible doesn't tell us all the details. So we don't know, but nothing say Peter went to get a training somehow. But Jesus asked them, do you have the sword? Peter said, we have 2. And when the moment came, Peter used it effectively. So that's what this guy's saying. I'm going to rewind it a little bit. Okay. So you can say it again.
I'm gonna put you in time, and you've been violent. I'm gonna tell you why. You mess with this, now you stepping on Mr. Gilmore's property. He's quoting the Bible to be violent now. Did you go through a metal detector before you came in here? Are you strapped right now?
Are you strapped?
She's asked me, Bishop. No, I don't. I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's not a game, but we live in America.
You hear that?
And we have an amendment. Quote the Bible to the assailant. Okay. I'll quote the Bible to the assailant.
Quote the Bible to the assailant.
Yeah. In Luke 22.
Hear this.
38.
Luke 22:38.
Hey. What chapter? 22:38. Verse 38. Yeah. When Jesus was getting ready to leave the Garden of Gethsemane, he says, Peter, do you have your swords with you? Yes. Peter said, I have 2 of them. Yes. Jesus said, that's enough. Let's roll, big homie. And it's in Luke 22:38 to let you know you can carry a 22 and a 38. So why you carry 9 though?
He's carrying a gun to the show. Did you hear that? He's carrying a gun to the show. He carried a gun to the show there. You remember the lady who was hosting the show asked him earlier, did you go through the metal detector to come here? He carried a 9mm with him. He said he carried everywhere. He's a bishop, Bishop Gibson. His name is Bishop something Gibson. I forgot his first name. Bishop Gibson. He said he carried his gun everywhere to protect him, to protect his wife, and to protect his properties. People, where do you get it from that angels are protecting you and you don't need to protect yourself? Where did you get that from? Did the Bible tell you that? Did the Bible tell you angels are protecting you so you just be neglectful? Remember again, the example that I said in a few of my videos, I said, if a gunman goes to a church, a house of God, I don't care what church, it can be Catholic, it can even be jokers in that church. If it's called a church, meaning it's a place of God. If a bad guy can go there and kill people there, something is wrong with our conception that God will protect you there. Or God's angels are there or whatever. Or God's angels are with you anytime, any place, as a matter of fact. So meaning, God doesn't rush and be, hey, when the event happens, learn from it. Maybe God is saying it's not my responsibility to protect you. You have to protect yourself because you don't know my word. Jesus asked them, the disciples, do you have the sword? And they say they have two. Luke 22:38. Go read the area. And they say they have two. And Jesus said, that's enough. Jesus didn't say, hey, why are you carrying a sword? You don't need it, blah, 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 blah. No, Jesus didn't say that. People, one more proof, you have to protect yourself. I'm telling you, you have to do it. Does that mean you don't pray anymore? You better pray. Why? Because you can have a gun on you and be killed. You can have a gun and they shoot you in the back. They surprise you and shoot you. You can have the gun and you don't know what happened and you get killed. Or you have a gun, the other person shoot better and kill you. You pray for the situation doesn't happen, but you have to consider your environment. America is bad. The guy say we live in America. He's a bishop. Okay, I don't want to talk too much. And I'm repeating it. I want to emphasize it, for you to get it. Luke 22:38. Don't forget that.